No hearings. What do you handle? Civil or
So also.
all civil?
Most district court judges do that?
No,
No.
no. Only a few have all civil.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of strange.
Yeah.
Usually they have all mixes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They originally tried to do it one or the other. They've got some that do
Yeah.
both, or some that do both now.
Yes, someone do both.
Most
Most of
actually do both.
Oh, really? Most of it now?
Well, I can't say most. No, quite a few do both. Some do all criminal. Some do all civil.
Let me ask you this off the air, so in case you don't want it, what do you think about this deal with Elizabeth Gonzalez and
No. Yeah, that would be no.
off the
comment.
record, eh?
Um,
Off the record,
yeah.
as a friend.
hard to say. It's. I've read some of this stuff. Not a lot. And it's one of those, that case is so huge and so many moving parts
Yeah.
that unless you're there, it's hard to.
I was wondering why they don't use what do you call when you ask to move to another judge, parental, what do you call that?
Peremptory, yeah.
Peremptory. But they told me then you have to do that before
Yep.
the trial start. And I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay, are we on?
Well, it's 11:59. If you
Oh.
want to go on early.
No,
Mr.
no,
Producer
no.
over here.
No, no, no. No, 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 no. No, we got to go by the rule.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise,
you got
Doctor,
like 30
otherwise, Doctor Dempsey is gonna want to
Gonna
come
follow
in.
suit.
Yeah,
Civil
he
court.
follows suit against me.
Well, maybe we can get it litigated right here.
How's it look the campaign?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Who's
Yeah.
running against you?
Bruce Gale.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not competition. No,
Hope
he's a
not.
piece of
Hope
trash.
All right, 10 seconds. You guys ready?
Ready.
Yep.
Go.
Hello, Las Vegas. This is Rolando Larraz with Face the Tribune. As I always said, if you have nothing to hide, you don't have to worry about facing the Tribune. Facing the Tribune is just that, facing the Tribune. And I'm going to do something different today because it seems like nobody liked my introduction to the show with Judge Janine Pirro. So I'm going to do my own opening statement. I think that those candidates last night in the debate were acting like children. It was ridiculous to see these people fighting, and they didn't have anything to answer to each other. And I think they're gonna need to grow up if they want to be the president of the United States because we have enough. We have enough of trying. We have enough of practicing to be president for the last 8 years, 7.5 years. So that's my opening statement today. With me, of course, like always, is Mr. Trump Jr. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Clark Feeley, my co-host. He idolized Trump. I know he's not going to agree with what I said, but I think it was neat. I need to get it out of my chest. And my guest today is my good friend and one of the most distinguished persons in the judicial system of Clark County, Judge Joe Hattie. Good morning, Judge. How
Morning.
are you? Or good afternoon? I don't know. I think it's good
Technically
afternoon.
afternoon.
Yeah,
right,
it is
yes.
1 minute after. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank
How does
you.
it feel to be in the bench? How does it
is-
feel to wear a robe?
It is wonderful. I tell people it is the best job I've ever had, bar none, and it's even better than I had hoped it would be.
What do you mean the best job, economically or satisfaction?
No, that's a great question. So
Because I think you used to make more money than what the judges make.
yes, yeah. So economically, no, but satisfaction, life satisfaction, feeling good, doing good. That's how it's the best.
You do
job.
civil, right?
All
Only
civil,
all
yes.
civil. You ever done any trust?
No, I think I may have had.
As a lawyer?
As a lawyer, no,
No.
no.
As a judge?
As a judge, I may have had one or two that involved really trusts and estates, but most of those go to the I want to say discovery commissioner, but that's the probate
Commission, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, really? Trust go to.
Well, if you're talking trusts and estates,
What
those
about
go
out,
there.
out of the state?
Say that again.
How about a trust in another state?
Yeah. if
Can
it-
you handle that in here? Can you rule in a
So I have a feeling you're talking about a pending case. Is that?
I don't know if it's pending. I don't know if it's pending now or not. I think it's over.
Okay.
No, I've been writing.
Let's say there
about-
was a trust in Arizona that existed in Arizona. Does the jurisdiction of Nevada, can you have a issue about that
I'm not
trust?
trying to entrap you in any
Yeah,
way
no,
or
it's just a
shape, okay?
question
It's just a
between
question.
states.
Because you're civil. I cannot ask you what are you going to do with a guy that's selling drugs legally, like
Oh, gee.
like David Collins, the guy that was in the narcotics division. Now he's a drug pusher, but I'm not doing that. You know me better than that.
Yeah.
I don't do any stuff like
So
that.
generally, I can say our jurisdiction is 8th Judicial District Court judges. Generally speaking, our jurisdiction is limited to Clark County.
That's what I thought, yeah. So I've been writing a series of articles. Then I believe, according to the court documents that I got, it's over. The judge, but they still keep appealing, and former Judge Luke is one of the attorneys and the plaintiff. Then I don't know how the plaintiff became a defendant, but that's something that only lawyers can answer that
Lawyers
question.
are very creative and find ways to do.
But I was thinking about going either to Clark County Detention Center or to the state prison.
voluntarily.
Voluntarily to find some of those lawyers over there. Every jail has a lawyer, But anyway, let me ask you,
Sure.
you're running for election, right?
Yes. So retention
Retention
election.
election. Okay,
Yes.
that's the mistake I made.
Where does the
with
party that's opposing you, where did they come from? What's their background?
Hey, lawyers.
Yeah. So
But he hasn't been a judge or anything.
No, he has not.
No,
been.
he was married to the Greenspan family, and he's not good for anything.
okay.
That's my opinion, not the judge's opinion. I wanted to make sure that when I do in this microphone is my opinion. I don't put words in anybody's mouth. I think the guy is not good for anything, and I think the people of Clark County will be having a disservice if by mistake they choose him. You don't have a primary, right?
Correct. Yeah, we go straight to November.
Straight to
Yeah.
No, Joe is a straight shooter. He's not any of those people that play two sides of the fence.
How many district court judges are running in November?
No, that's
No.
a great question. When I ran in 2014 for the first time, the 32 district and the 20 family were all up. Now, a number of those didn't draw opponents, so they weren't on. This time around, though, it's only myself and
think.
Eric Johnson.
Yeah.
Both of us got appointed last year, And so when you get appointed, you have to run in
The next election. So there's only 2 running then.
right. So there are only 2 district court judges.
And
There's
3
5 or 6 actually. Las Vegas
That many?
Justice.
That
Yeah,
many?
there's quite a few.
Wow.
You're on the air, Radio Tribune.
Hi, this is Sharon, your local Google specialist.
You call for an specialist? Well, there you got Google.
I
They
talked
can-
to her, and not during the show. I would talk
They
to her.
got-
I'd have something to say to her, but not
They
now.
got all the answers. People say, Google this, Google that.
But you can't get a hold of Google. Have you ever tried to call Google?
No,
Steve,
You
If you
can't.
wanna
There's
join
no
us,
phone.
you
There's
wanna-
no way to get a hold of anybody.
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so if you have a problem, you're done. You
Yeah.
fight with them all the time. That's why I say, if
You
if I
would've
wasn't
taken
doing
it.
anything, I would have taken that call and given
Whose
them.
place do you no, who place
yeah.
you took? You took
So
Abby,
I took
Abby, no?
Judge Abby Silver's
Yeah.
department. Now, funny enough, though, I took over her department, which is Department 15. But because my background was all civil cases, they kind of switched around the dockets. So her split civil criminal went to Richard Scotty, and then I took what had been his all civil docket.
Yeah, and Scotty was running against John Watkins.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
Your opponent, would he, if he were elected, like, God forbid, but would he take both criminal and civil? Or
He would just take my docket.
Okay.
All
Okay.
civil. yeah.
But we don't need to talk about that because he's not going to.
right, that's
There you
fine.
go.
I was just curious as to whether he brought more to the
No.
table. So
No,
to
No,
speak.
no, he didn't bring
No,
nothing.
good question. And
Yeah.
He
you
bring
know,
less to the table.
I got you.
Yeah.
I
I just,
I can,
Sorry, I can't.
along those lines, though, I just last couple weeks was announced. I haven't taken them yet. It starts 2 weeks from now, but I got a portion of the business court cases, and so those are the higher value, more complex, business related cases. So I'll be taking over a portion of those as well.
So you might getting the case. The Sheldon Adelson is fighting to get away from.
No, I think
let's hope not, huh?
The most recent I saw was Chief Judge Barker, who is basically the judge who rules when that type of issue is brought up. I believe he denied the most recent request.
He
Again,
Again, yeah, they
Yeah.
have denied it 3 or 4
Yeah.
times already. Yeah, Judge Barker is going to be here. What, April 1st?
April 4th, I believe.
April 4th.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna
Yeah.
do this show, I think. So that's good. So anyway,
Can
now
you give an opinion on the Steve Wynn thing with the tips and all that, or is that a little?
no,
You're not going to get involved in that, I'm sure.
No, generally we're not allowed to, chime in on things like that. But regardless, all I know about that really is all I've read in the newspaper. So I'm not even educated enough to.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. I think the Ninth Court probably. I don't know if they rule
but that
along
is not an open case, no? That's
constitutional
closed now, shut.
lines. or-
Well, from what I read, it was a panel of the Ninth Circuit, so a three judge panel. So they have an option to
appeal.
either request the full Ninth Circuit,
Oh, okay. It was a
or file the writ to the United States Supreme Court.
Jeez.
Josh, don't you see? I don't know if just because I'm an outsider. Don't you see too many protocols, too many things in the judicial system that can be avoided? Don't you think? What is this 3 panels and 5 panels and?
Well, here,
why is that have to be that way?
That's a great question. I think, yes, I'm going to give a long lawyerly answer
Yeah.
to a short question, but yesterday I went and taught the Constitution to a group of 5th graders. And one one of the protections we have in the Constitution is due process, right? So a right to be heard and given fair notice. And, you know, our legal system, yeah, there's no perfect legal system in the world, right? I mean, nothing's perfect.
Well, the law don't guarantee it perfectly.
Right. But I think we have, well, I know we have by far the best legal system, regardless of how imperfect it may be. And part of the protections that are in place are parties' rights. You know, if they feel the judge at the trial court level, like me, you know, did something wrong, they can appeal to a higher, you know, the panel, and you know, on up, so to speak. And you know, yeah, it can be long and drawn out and very expensive, but at the same time, you know, we want to get it right.
But let me ask you, and you know, I hate to sound stupid, but I've been doing some researches in few cases, and do you think, and this doesn't apply to you because you was not a judge before, but for example, Jerry Tao, he was a district court judge. Now he's in the appellate court. Mm-hmm. Now, do you think that he's going to rule against one of his former co-workers? Do you think, don't you see any conflict of interest in there? Why do we need to have the appeal court with judges that are already in district court?
No, that's a fair question. I think you know,
and that's a question that a lot of people ask me.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that happened when the people appeal. They have to bring it back to the same judge that made the mistakes. Yeah. It doesn't.
Well, you know, let's be a little clear. The appellate court judge will not be ruling on any of the cases like let's take Judge Tao. He won't be ruling on any cases that he decided as a district court judge.
I understand that.
Okay, so
but he gonna
No,
decide and the judge next door to him.
So the funny thing, yes, and in appellate court judges, you do want someone, generally speaking, who has had some experience already being a judge. Now there are notable exceptions like Justice Pickering, who's doing a fine job.
She's doing a fine job. Yeah.
But generally, you know, you want an appellate judge, someone who's been a judge before, and you know, going back to any, you know, perceived, I don't want to do what, you know, overturn what a former colleague of mine did. One thing I noticed right away, and you know, now that I'm a judge and I get to be in the judge meetings, and it makes sense. Judges have wide varieties of opinions and thoughts,
Yeah.
and they're,
I know,
you know,
I
generally they're type A personalities, not afraid to express.
Yeah, I have
their
attended
opinions.
some of those judges' meetings, monthly meetings.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I don't see that really as a problem, given, you know, the fact that we have a wide variety of opinions and thoughts on things, and we're not afraid to express it.
Yeah, because like I don't think Judge Tao, and the reason I'm trying to use people that are not really necessarily fit in what I'm asking,
Right,
so I don't
right.
get into,
Yeah.
and I don't put you in any difficult position. Judge Tao is only been there 6 months.
So he actually now he's been in there over a year.
It was in November when he got elected, right?
So he.
Oh yes. He
Yeah,
was-
a year ago,
he was
November.
elected. He
They
started
took,
on.
They
the
started like
15th.
January of 15, I think.
Yeah.
5th or
Okay.
something.
So maybe because he's such dry person, he didn't make that much of a friends in that year. But assuming, like for example, take a judge like Doug Smith, he's been there all his life. Well, not necessarily, but I think when he was born, the course didn't exist. But he made friends, he made enemies, and sometimes even judges are afraid of him. How can he rule against, let's see, Judge, my former friend, Judge Jesse Walsh? He will never rule, assuming that he is in the appellate court or in the Supreme Court, you know.
That's a very long hypothetical, and I'm not sure I followed it completely. But you know what? I think overall, judges. Well, I know overall they want to do the right thing, and they want to get it right, and so I don't see that like you're saying. You know, overturning a former colleague as being an issue.
No?
No.
Well, that's a little bit of a.
And if you rule by law, you would have the best excuse as an appellate court. Look, I'm ruling by law.
Yeah.
So
Because most people appeal the issues in court, right? I would say 70% people appeal. And if they don't want to appeal, the lawyers want to appeal because they make
Lawyers
more money.
like to make money. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I understand that part. And I don't know. I thought, to be honest with you, until I started writing about this case, I thought we have a pretty good judicial system.
And
But I seen so many things, Joe, then it doesn't mean it doesn't fit.
I
right.
had a judge tell me once, just for an example, all lawyers need to be paid. You have to understand that. He gave me a lecture from the bench. You have to understand all lawyers need to be paid. I said, first of all, I don't know who this lawyer is. He doesn't have any standing in this case. And there's some lawyers out there in the hall I passed on the way in here. Should I bring them in too? And I mean, who? Don't you have to be the prevailing party to have an attorney paid? How do you lose a case and be paid?
And it's very difficult to make an opinion without knowing all the details.
Exactly. Yes.
But aren't there
Okay.
procedures to set up to where if you lose a case, you don't get paid?
Well, it depends.
I mean, I know there's exceptions, but you'd have to have something that was a case filed that was inappropriate, and maybe you lost the case, but there were some motions made that were inappropriate. Maybe there's sanctions or what have you. But if you lose the case,
generally you don't get your fees.
and that's the American rule.
Even if you prevail, the general American
Right,
rule is that you
exactly.
don't get your fees and costs.
Really?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Different than England. In England, if
Right.
you win,
I think we're the
you
only
get your
country in the world I've heard that has that type of
That
system.
could be. That could be.
And it comes from the lobbying effort I heard in Washington, D.C., where the lawyers want that because that increases their volume of cases significantly. Because
We've had that rule from, back 200 plus years
Yeah.
ago.
Well,
Yeah.
and now you've been a judge now for what?
Almost 10 months.
10 months, almost 10 months. And you enjoying it?
I love it.
if you get elected, you'll be in for 6 years.
So,
No,
no.
4 years.
4, yeah,
4 years.
exactly. So,
So they all
I
can
fill
run
out-
at the same
thought
time.
it was 6.
I fill out
okay.
the rest of the
If you
6-year
win, then
term.
4 years from now, you'd be in for another 6 years.
Yes,
I
exactly.
got you. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and
I
then
got
let's
you. That's
hope,
right.
Let's hope that's the case.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Let's hope that's the case because Joe, I'm sorry I call you Joe.
No,
Judge,
that's okay. That's-
I wanted to make sure that people know that we are not socially friends. I know you. I know your record. I know your father, but I don't.
we don't hang out.
We don't
yeah.
hang out together. I'm too old to be hanging out with kids like you. But I I believe that you are a very good person. You are very fair. You are, at least you try to be fair.
Yes.
When you go to court, it's like, you're never gonna please both sides.
Right.
No
Yep.
matter if it's family court, civil court, criminal court, It's a lot of things that I don't like about the judicial system in this place, in this town, where everybody has to plead guilty. No matter what, everybody has to plead guilty. And I think that is unfair. It's a lot of people that get arrested and they not guilty, and I don't see that to be a fair solution just because the district attorney wants to get another conviction in their record so they can run for judge, but with that say, that my best interest is the interest of the community.
Right.
And I believe that in your case, you are the best interest to the
thank you.
community. And I'm speaking for myself. I don't, this is not the radio station endorsement or the newspaper endorsement, but I think we did endorse you last time, right? Did we?
Yes.
I believe so. I don't know because I don't get involved in that part specifically for that reason. I know so many of you judges. Then I don't want to be accused of taking sides with this one or that one. We endorse Adriana Escobar, and I don't think we are in good terms because she had David Thomas for campaign manager. But I know Judge Escobar since she was a young lady, and her mother used to work with me when I had the Spanish newspaper. I like her, and I don't look at my personal taste. I don't look at my personal view. I try to do
Objective, right?
objectively, and I don't think your opposition is fit to be a judge. Mentally or any
Does your
other one.
opposition have a campaign manager?
That's great. Not that I know.
No,
of.
no,
He
no.
might.
No, he's too cheap to pay for the campaign
Oh,
manager. And I don't want to mention his name because I don't want to
Thank
give
you.
publicity.
Yes.
I don't want to give him free publicity.
Well, then why wouldn't we support, as the newspaper or whatever, Judge
Huh?
Hardesty? Why wouldn't we support Judge Hardesty?
Well, because 2 years ago, I think it was,
Oh, no, that was a bad.
we decide not to endorse anymore because the endorsements have become a joke,
Yeah,
Judge.
yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong. This is a friendly conversation. Correct me if I'm wrong. People endorse people because either they place an ad in the paper or because somebody else tell them to do it.
There's an agenda.
It's an agenda. Maybe that's a way to put it in my poor little English, but I don't believe the endorsements mean really what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's I certainly can appreciate that view on things. Having gone through the election, 2 years ago, and then now the retention election, it is nice though to receive endorsements, and however much weight they may carry, I think depends on the endorsing party as well as the community.
I think it's more the weight that the candidate weight. If the candidate is worse than endorsement,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm an old-fashioned person. I believe elections are becoming too dirty, becoming too controversial.
Well, the funny, I tend to agree with you on, and there's some obviously that fit what you're saying. The thing I like to tell people about when I ran 2 years ago against now Judge Jim Crockett, I didn't win, he won. we ran a perfectly clean.
But you are friends, right?
Yeah. So
You know.
the irony of everything is I don't know. Do you know the Phoenix building?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the top of the Phoenix building is where they put the new judges. There's 2 courtrooms in
So
there.
you there? Are you in
Yes.
the 10th floor?
So it's me and Jim Crockett.
Oh.
And so we've
So you neighbors.
yeah. But the
Wow.
good news is not awkward at all because we didn't engage in any, name calling or anything
You didn't?
dirty like no.
No. Well, he's a decent person.
Yeah.
I met him once with former Judge Ken Pollock.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Judge Pollock used to be in that office with him one time.
Oh, and in his building? or-
Yeah,
Okay.
in his
yeah.
building. I don't know if they were partners or he was just renting an office
Right,
over there,
right.
because that's another thing that we have in here. Sometimes people get the impression that you are associated with this one because you're renting an office in the same
Yeah,
building.
yeah.
Look at the building that Steve Wilson have. He got 10 different attorneys in there, and I don't think neither one of them
Any
work.
of them are working.
I don't even
Yeah.
know if they get along each other.
No, that's fair, but you know the old adage of don't burn any bridges, and what goes around comes around. I'm very glad to say we ran a good, clean campaign because otherwise it'd be very awkward over there.
It is, and it's also, I believe, is kind of despicable to see come out with ridiculous things like they did with. Actually, it wasn't him; it was David Thomas. David Thomas accused John Watkins of defending drunk drivers. Well, that's his specialty. That's his specialty. He defends drunk drivers. What is the wrong with that? Everybody supposedly have the right to a fair defense. But he wanted to get Richard Scotty in there, and he do anything he got to do, right or wrong. He do whatever he got to do to elect his people. And but you can do that by telling the truth. Don't have to make people feel.
The problem is you were talking about the debate last night, right?
Yes.
The problem I think is you have a fairly large portion of the population that is swayed, if you will, by the negative politics and the yelling and screaming type of thing, and I think some people engage because they know it generates votes.
And I think that is one of the reasons that Dr. Ben Carson is not that much ahead, because he talks so
Too
soft.
quiet and
He's so fine spoken, very intelligent man. But and
He
I
sure
think
is right, though, boy.
Huh?
I'll tell you what, he sure is right.
really,
I think on,
On
a lot
what
of his,
part?
everything, all his thoughts, his policies. He's right on about everything. That's where he came from. Was that breakfast that they had in Washington D.C., where he took what he spoke his mind and what he thought about Obama,
yeah.
and that's how all of a sudden, boom, there he is. He speaks what people want to hear.
Yeah,
but he's just
without yelling and screaming
just-
like
yeah,
Rolando
it's
does.
he just doesn't have the traction.
I'm
like
gonna
you're
have to
talking about
start
with
doing that. I'm gonna have to start doing that. Steve, you can join us if you want to. I give you permission.
You've only been a judge for 10 months.
not quite. Yeah.
Oh, so I was going to say, you must have used some influence already in that short period of time to get that license plate. How do you,
What license plate is that?
it says Judge Joe.
Yeah.
He must have had some juice somewhere. To be able
Oh,
to
no,
get
he
that.
took that license plate from Josh Bonaventure.
Oh yeah. It's funny.
They
So-
used to call him Josh Joe.
So he's still Judge Joe, the senior. His son's a justice of the peace, but he still does settlement conferences, and on that 11th floor where Judge Crockett and I are at is also the senior judges.
Yes.
So Judge Bonaventure's up there fairly often, and I was walking through the parking garage one time and ran into him, and he goes, "Oh, that could be my license plate."
Yeah,
just
gee,
like
did he make you an
yours.
offer?
His son is running for re-election
Yeah.
too.
yeah.
I believe he's doing a good job.
How long have you had that plate?
Well, less than 10 months.
How did you get it? You just asked for it?
You can go. It's really the DMV online. It's really nice. You can go on and you can do searches for
Right, and
you
that
know-
came up as
Well,
available.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
no kidding.
yeah. So just like
Well, because
anybody-
Judge Bonaventure is very off-key. He doesn't like those personalized plays or
Yeah,
anything.
well, that's-
I used to know him when
Just curious.
I used to know Judge Bonaventure before he became Justice of the Peace, and I always like him. I two judges then. I don't know if they like me that much, but because sometimes they don't agree with me on what I write.
Well, just because you don't agree with someone all the time.
But Judge, you are from here, right? You
grew
born
up
and
in
raised-
Boulder
yeah.
City.
Yeah, Judge Seymour Brown and Bonaventure. I don't know why. I always kind of see them like, and Judge Seymour, rest in peace. He used to be a crazy judge.
Where did you go to school?
So I went BYU for 7 years actually. So undergrad did history with a minor in Portuguese.
Oh.
And then continued.
Oh, really?
on
So do you go to
law
Brazil now and then, or?
school. Well, I spent 2 years there on a mission, but
In a mission.
unfortunately haven't had the chance to go back since then.
Well, I'm going to have my sister call you so you can practice your Portuguese.
Oh, that would be great because that's a drawback. Unlike Spanish, that I don't get to use Portuguese at all, really.
Yeah.
You know Spanish too?
Un poquito. Muy poquito
Muy poquito.
de español. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you, Judge, what can Radio Tribune, if Mr. Feeley allow me to talk for the radio station, what the newspaper and the radio station can do to make sure that you people, that you are going to survive this.
Get
because,
elected, yeah.
because let me tell you, in case you don't know, the person you're running is very tricky. And it's very, very tricky. And I don't want him to confuse the voters.
Yeah.
And your
Good
election
luck
is
on
in
that. How do you
November,
stop
right?
that?
November,
Huh?
yeah.
How do you stop something like that?
By-
So you tell all your friends and
Yeah.
neighbors
Wow.
and spread the word, put a sign out,
Yeah.
that type of
Yeah,
thing.
dirty tricks is tough.
And you're county-wise, right?
Countywide, yeah, which is
Actually,
very
no,
large.
you're state-wise, right?
no countywide. Yep.
But you can be a judge in Washoe County. They need you because they
yeah,
bring,
if there's a need.
because I seen judges coming over here.
Yeah.
I forgot what case was, what trial was. I
they
think
can
it
come.
was.
Sit by designation is what that's called. Just like I imagine it will be less. It's less common now than it used to be, but a district court judge, if there's a need, can sit by designation as a Nevada Supreme Court judge in a particular case.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Doesn't
It,
happen very often anymore, but
Okay, well, you're welcome to put some literature in here. Put your record. I think I still have a few from last time,
Oh,
but
well, we'll have to
I
have
don't
to
know.
get you the new ones though,
right,
because
right, and I believe then I don't know. We got a few people coming by, and we can help you like that.
thank you.
I don't gonna say that you are perfect, but you are the best of the two. Let me put it that way. And I don't know if I'm doing the right way. I don't know if I'm saying it the right way. And my poor English is not.
No, you're-
well, it's no choice. One of the two. No.
I don't know.
mean,
I don't know if you can even comment on this, but what's your opinion, if you can even say one, about elections for judges or appointments for judges? What
That's actually a really good question.
some states have done away with the elections because they're so subject to corruption and stuff.
Yeah, going back to my statement on our legal system, it's not perfect. Having gone through both the election 2 years ago and then the appointment last year, there's pros. And I'm going to sound like a lawyer.
No, because there's
there
you
are
know,
pros.
You
and
are a
cons.
lawyer.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've spoken to other states that did away with the election process because it was just rampant, where you're making decisions in court that concern lawyers, and you're in the same token you're saying, did you put enough? Did you, you know? The articles that were written from the L.A. Times 6-7 years
But you,
ago.
al-
just
you
come to
also,
mind.
with the appointment, then, you can politics.
It's
can
still
come into
there.
Play that way.
Oh, sure, it's still there.
Yeah, in the election, obviously, you have the issue you raised. The other issue, I think, is people don't know, who the judicial candidates are.
We've talked about that a lot. You know,
I've always believed that the judicial election is among the lawyers, among the legal community, not necessarily lawyers, but paralegals and it goes by. People don't know who the judges are.
Yeah.
I got
lawyers
people
rate the judges. Do you know how lawyers rate you?
No, so the Review Journal rating is
No,
Yeah,
no.
whatever
Oh,
it
are you
is,
talking
where they
about the
rate.
Review Journal?
Because I noticed, like, I was reading something, a judge put in whatever, an ad or whatever, that he was
that
rated
would
an
be-
86.
That would be the Review Journal
Right,
ratings.
right.
And I have not been on the bench long enough to have
Right,
a
but
rating.
do you know if other judges are aware of what lawyers and how they rate them? Would you have privy to that information?
Well, the Review Journal publishes that.
Right, but does a judge know that a particular lawyer
No,
rated him
no,
bad, so then he's not going to win any cases? Let's say.
No.
No, the way
No, they
because
don't
I
do that.
participated in the surveys, as an attorney, and at least the most recent one and probably the last couple, it's online and it's anonymous, and so the judges
Just no way to know that.
No.
Okay.
no, which is how it should be.
Well, sure, because I mean, there's a lot of things that are subject to
But,
questions.
It's really a secret. When you send somebody an email, they know where the email come from, right? When you participate in one of those.
Well, see
the-
with the Review Journal doing it, that I forget how they did it, by bar number or something to verify that you're actually an attorney.
Well, somebody knows who. Somebody
But
must know.
the judges that doesn't.
Do you know who
make the
contributes
way-
to you and how much?
Well,
Well,
you
you
do,
have
yeah,
to.
Yeah.
You have to, because you have to
You
file.
have to do your C&E
the-
Right,
report.
right.
Yeah, you have to do that twice during the election, right? 3 times.
I want to say there's at least 3, if not 4. I should know this because I did it 2 years ago, but right before the primary, maybe right after, right before the general, and I think there's 4.
So going back to Clark's question, do you prefer being elected or you prefer to be appointed?
I prefer to be a judge, so I'm glad.
No matter how.
Well, how the hell do you get
Yeah,
there?
exactly.
No, but
So,
what do
yeah.
you? How do you?
What do you think is the best? I don't even know. If you can
What
answer
is the
that question.
best?
What do you think?
I think I'd have
pros
to.
and cons. Which way is
I think I'd have to defer. What I've told people.
You're gonna take the
is-
fifth.
Yeah. Well, that would imply, that by being charged with a crime or
right.
potentially being charged. But what I tell people as a somebody who was running 2 years ago and then as an applicant, now as a judge, I'm dealing with the system we have in place here, and if the people, meaning the citizens of Nevada, they would have to do. I'm pretty sure it's in the Constitution, the Nevada's Constitution, the way
probably,
it's set up
yeah.
for us. So unless that gets amended at some point in time, I'm fine with what we have.
Right, but I mean, is there a pro or a con, irregardless of how it was
Oh,
done?
there's certainly pros on both sides and cons.
But you're
on-
not going to say which comes out best.
No.
I didn't. But,
Why is that? What is so?
Other states that
So
have gone the
complicated, why
other
is so-
way, whatever the merits or whatever else the criteria they use, they are adamant that they do not want elections. They're adamant. Like I've talked to several lawyers in
Well,
Oregon.
I don't know.
Boy, oh boy.
To
I
be
don't know what
honest with
happened
you,
there, but they are.
I prefer the elections than.
Yeah, I know we've
the
had the
appointment
discussion
because,
before.
The appointment, first of all, it gives the person who select that person to be appointed to the bench too much power. I don't believe that if I will have a little more faith in our election system, I will think if it's better to be elected because it's the people who elected you.
Well,
But
let me chime in there a little, if I may.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying in terms of the people having a choice, which is paramount. Since I was appointed, I have to at least say something good
Right.
about the appointment process,
Right.
right? So the good news is Nevada a few years back, 10, 15 years ago, really put into place some really good protections in terms of the appointment process. So you now have this very comprehensive, and I know because I had to do it, application that you have to fill out, and I forget how long mine ended up being, but it's 25, 30 pages of different questions. You answer all these questions. You give 3 letters of recommendation from attorneys, 3 letters of recommendation from non-attorneys that you as the applicant don't even get to see. You ask people, you ask your 6 people to do a letter and you hope that that
Right.
they do it. But they send that in directly to the Judicial Selection Commission. And so the Judicial Selection Commission's a statewide commission. It's a very diverse, if you will, in terms of there's a certain number of attorneys, a certain number of non-attorneys, and the head of it is the Chief Justice. When I did, it was Justice Hardesty. And it's statewide, like I said, so you have some from down here, some from up there. And then when it's a county like the 8th Judicial's Clark County, they appoint, the governor appoints 2 temporary members from that particular county, which makes sense because if you're selecting a judge from a county, you want to have some people that may, know the applicants. And so the commission, I forget how many members there are. It's 7 or 9 or 11 something. They take all the applications, review and consider them, and then they interview every single applicant who adequately submitted an application. In our case, for the two spots that there were 25.
Really?
People applied, yeah.
Seems to me like that process would tend to be a lot more applicable to maybe somebody qualified than just
Yes.
an election where the
It
name,
definitely is.
accidents can happen.
And that's
This
why
seems to
part of
be-
why obviously I'm self-interested because I made it through. But
Yeah.
that's one of the pros in that process.
Yeah, I can understand that.
They go through
The
the
credibility of
qualifications.
the.
In some
uh,
states, I have experience with
Well,
some
no,
states,
if
they
it's
have an
that
age
way-
limit at 70 years old.
If
That's
it's
it.
that
The
way,
governor
I
appoints you, but when
agree.
you're 70, you're done. You're
Yeah,
off.
no, if it's the way the Judge Hardy is saying,
That seems to me to be a lot more knowledgeable of a
I know I
process
should have
than
said that
just
before.
throwing it up to a ballot,
I should say that earlier, but
which is subject
I
to the
wanted
voting
to-
machines and
no,
whether they're
I
rigged or
wasn't-
not.
I wasn't going to say that. I'm going to say that we are speaking with Judge Johari, then is District Court Judge on Department 15, right?
Correct, yes.
And I'm very pleased to know Judge Hardy, and I consider him a very, very distinguished person and very fair person. And I'm very happy to have him here today. And that's we're talking to Judge Hardy. That's what I wanted to get the point at.
As a voter,
we-
I would feel more comfortable being able to vote for someone that I know has gone through a process like what you went
Yeah,
through. Just
yeah.
from
If
my
it's that
standpoint,
way,
mean,
I
you know, it's-
agree because I
That's
tell
better
you,
than someone throwing a hat, your hat in the ring.
election department, and the election process, it bring a lot of commercialized. A lot of
Signs and
business.
commercials
You know,
and, yeah.
campaign managers and advertisement and a lot of things. Then it take. I will, if we're gonna have the election, if we're gonna have elected judges, I believe that the attorneys should not be contributing to the campaign or the.
It makes it tough. It really does. That's subject to a
You know,
lot of abuse there.
That's why I like Donald Trump so much, because he's not taking money from anybody.
That's my number one reason.
So the good news about being a judge, I can't comment on any other candidates.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I don't.
But you're a
see-
judge. You can't judge him.
Nice. I
That's
like
a
that
good
was
one.
good.
Well,
That
I
was
mean, you
good.
know,
Anyway, you are gonna be now campaigning until November
Yes.
4, right?
Yeah.
November something.
2014 it was November 4, which happens to be my birthday. I think it's a little later this year, like I don't know, the 7th or something.
7, I think it is this year. Yeah, 4 was last time.
what do? Do you have to go to events? Do
Oh,
you
yeah.
just play? Yeah,
I
just
have
you're
to
out
appear
campaigning.
on radio shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, events and raise money and
Wow.
shake hands.
Who's your campaign manager?
So Dave Thomas this time around.
Really? And he allow you to come here? He allow you
I'm
to
not
come here?
candidly. I'm not sure he knows I'm here.
Eh?
So.
He knows you here?
I
Wow.
don't think he does actually.
Oh, no, I don't think he will let you do that. Let me tell you a story about David Thomas.
So if we can
Uh-oh.
avoid that, that'd probably be good. Cause I
Oh,
don't,
okay, okay.
I was gonna
Well,
say, wow.
Well, Adriana Escobar is David Thomas' client, and we supported her. I think we endorsed. I think that was the last time we endorsed anybody.
So you're not going to hold that against them. That's what you said.
Yes, thank you.
There you go.
No,
Perfect.
I don't.
Well, that's good. Boy.
Because unfortunately, that's the only way you're going to be elected, by having somebody like that guy doing your. I don't know what he's doing, because I know people that have used him, and he don't put a yard sign, he don't raise money, he don't do any of that stuff for the client like I used to be. I'm an old man, Joe, you know that. And I remember in the old days, you see campaign managers doing
Doing the dirty work, so to speak. Well,
but now
maybe not the dirty.
now they sit at the Golden Nugget coffee shop. Well, they don't know if they have a coffee shop anymore. And they say, well, you need to go out and get some money. You need to go out and get some money. Well, what am I hiring you for? In the old days, the campaign managers is the one that get the envelope. So the candidate don't have to be obligated to the donors. And that was a perfect
Yeah,
thing.
and mostly still that's the way it works. But as we were talking about, the candidate has to review and sign the C&E report, so they automatically will know, regardless who's contributed. Interestingly, when I went to the judicial college, that happens to actually be up in Reno. You meet with judges from all over the country, and I forget which state this particular judge was in, but they have election, but they do it a little differently in terms of contributions. They have to have a separate, official committee that apparently handles the contributions on behalf of the judge, and the judge, and this judge said, yeah, officially the judge doesn't do anything with it.
Kind of like a PAC have any influence on Jeb Bush or not?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nah,
That's a
140.
fair,
Yeah,
fair
right.
comparison there.
Right,
Judge-
right.
Judge, I like to thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
And you know that the microphones at the pages of the Las Vegas Tribune are at your disposal. If you decide to do one show every month, whatever you decide to do, we can even make a space for you to do something. Then it can be more constant
Okay.
of a thing. I'd be happy to do that because I believe you are the best
Thank you.
candidate for that position. That's come from my heart. I thank you again, and that way people know then I am fair. So now that I know who your campaign manager is, people have to know. Then I don't care who the campaign manager is, but I guarantee you that if he wouldn't know that you was coming here, he would not let you do that because he did it with Judge Sullivan. He didn't let her come over here. But that's a story for another show. I'm glad you was here. I'm glad
Thank
you was
you.
able to expose your platform, and if we can be of any help whatsoever, let
Thank
me
you.
know. And then later on, I will discuss it with other people in the organization, and if they don't have any objection to put one of your signs out there, like we did last time, I'd be happy to do
Okay.
that. But
Thank you.
right now, unfortunately, it's not my voice alone.
That's
the,
actually-
the organization
Might not
changed.
be a bad thing, right? Might not be a bad thing.
Why? Are you telling me that I was not doing the right thing
I'm
before?
just giving you a
I
hard-
just thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
And,
you.
stay
Appreciate
tuned
it.
for Alex. No Alex Jones. I'm sorry. Stay tuned for Dr. Steve Dempsey at 1 o'clock, and at 3 o'clock, Clark Feeley with the Herd. And then after that, I don't know. I forgot who else is coming after that. Thank you for listening. My name is Rolando Larraz, and I stay behind every word I said in this show. Yo, I'm surprised. I'm surprised, David. Why you didn't tell me that before? I would have not mentioned anything bad about him. You deserve that respect. I don't want to put you in any